This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. You are listening to your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is July 23rd, 2020, and this is show number 81. Well, Nick, weekly unemployment claims came in a little bit over.
Yeah, it looks like they upticked a little bit to 1.416 million. So last week, I think we were at 1.3 million. So we definitely got a little bit of an uptick, and that reflects things that are going on in California and other places where you got these shutdowns taking place. So it's understandable. Then you have the weekly continuing claims declined a little bit to 16.19 million from a revised number of 17.3 million. So, either way, it's slow trekking going forward, and numbers need to improve. But you can understand if you get a little closures here and there that these numbers can uptick a little bit, but nothing dramatic this week.
Hey, and let's not forget that the $600 per week bonus payment, emergency payment under the CARES Act, that one ends on the 31st. So in little more than a week, that's going to be over. So probably going to lead to more people going back to work, right?
Yeah, you would hope so. But there's a lot of chatter of a new package coming out, and I hope they leave that part of it out where they give somebody an extra $600 to stay home. So we'll see how what comes out. You never know what the government could put out for anybody. So, again, that does go away. That would encourage people to come back to work. And, but we'll see what this new stimulus package really does. I'm not so sure it's going to be so great.
Well, Milton Friedman, late great economist, Nobel laureate, he always said that unemployment insurance was one of the most successful government programs ever because it does exactly what the name says. It ensures unemployment because it gives people options that they wouldn't otherwise have.
That's right. He did say that, and he's 100% correct. And again, we see that to be true.
Yeah, because everybody qualified for it, regardless how much you were making, even if you were a part-time employee, even if your hours got reduced and you became a part-time employee as a result of a partial layoff, you still got the $600. A lot of people I know out there were making more money on unemployment than they were actually working.
Yeah, and that really kind of is the problem why you don't get people going back to work. And again, you do have these shutdowns that are going on in California and elsewhere. So, that'll add to the scenario and add to the equation. But, we'll see what we get going forward. It'll be interesting to see what this next stimulus package, what they'll have. I know the payroll tax, I think Steve Mnuchin said, that will not happen. So, We'll see how this all plays out. But again, I think they're trying to get something out shortly. I just don't know if they can come to an agreement anytime soon.
Yeah, well, one thing that Congress usually is very agreeable about is spending more money. It's just a question of how much. I'm sure the left would like this $600 to continue. The right saying we'll give $100. So somewhere in the middle is probably where it's going to happen, and they want to give a bonus to people who actually go back to work. So they'll get a reduced amount per week. That was one potential scheme that I saw, listed. They're negotiating, and as the man said, I think it was Mark Twain, no man's life, liberty, or property is safe when the legislature's in session.
Well, again, another genius.
Yeah. I think it was Mark Twain who said it. If I'm wrong, correct us. Send us an email, kl@kerrylutz.com, and let us know who said it. If it wasn't Mark Twain, it might have been H.L. Mencken. Obviously, it was somebody who understood government really well, even over 100 years ago. So now we have earnings season in full force.
Yeah, we have earnings season really in full force now. And you had last night, Tesla, Microsoft reported earnings. Tesla has been on a roller coaster ride. The stock this morning was trading as high as 1679, and now it's trading at 1603 and went as low as 1551. So it's been all over the map. And again, a lot of these big stocks that people follow, that what we call the hot money, they hold a lot of sentiment for the intraday action. So we'll see where these things play out. Microsoft today is down $3.61. They actually made a ton of money, but again, their guidance was a little bit on the soft side, I suppose. But either way, we'll see what we get. This is really a trader's market. You want to be very, very careful trading stocks ahead of their earnings announcement because it's really a gamble. You could have a stock like Tesla, who really, I don't even think they made money, even though they might have done it with some magical accounting. That stock's trading higher, yet you have a stock like Microsoft that made a boatload of money, and that stock's trading lower. So again, you have to, look at these charts. And again, earnings is always, always, always a little bit of a gamble. And that's why I do not trade in front of the earnings announcements. I wait for the earnings announcements to end by about 3 to 5 days, and I look at those stocks, and maybe I'll get involved in them.
Okay, so gold and silver. Gold is up, silver is down.
Yeah, silver's had an amazing run, though. And when you look at silver futures, it's not really down that much, down about 1.3% today. But the run that it's had was just absolutely amazing. So it's kind of healthy to see a little bit of pullbacks when you make a new high. That's kind of normal. And if you take a look at gold is up again today, another $17. It's just been off the charts. And again, these things have gone parabolic, and they're probably going to continue to climb a little higher. But you got to be careful up here. I would not be chasing them at this stage of the game. I've missed this move, unfortunately, for myself, but I just can't buy up at these levels.
Yeah, so you missed the move, but this move has a long ways to go, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. This is just one leg of many. So, again, why wait for the patterns to reset? I wait for the weak hands to get shaken out, and then, I look to play a reestablished chart. Once we get that reestablished chart, we could jump back in. But the gold move, the silver move, with all the central bank intervention that's going on right now, this doesn't end for a long, long time.
Yeah, and so looking at silver, where's the entry point again on this?
Well, it's hard to say right now because you've had that parabolic spike. So if you notice the last 4 sessions, silver is really just taken off to the moon. But, natural support on this would be around the $20 level. And even, if it goes a little bit below that, then you'd have really, really good support around 1850 or so. So we have to see how they come back, how these equities pull back into these levels, and that will determine the entry ultimately.
Yeah, and it's interesting because usually gold and silver move pretty much in tandem. It's unusual to see gold up nearly 1% and see silver down 1% or 1.5%.
Yeah, it is a little unusual, but sometimes it happens like that. There's been times I've seen gold go up and silver has been actually negative before silver recovered and went into an uptrend. So again, they do diverge a little bit, but and silver is still my favorite longer term play ultimately.
Yeah, well, you just have to look because gold, we're really close to 1900. We're a hair's breadth. What are the futures on gold today?
Yeah, right now we have gold futures at 1886, up $21.
Wow. So really, the move is still on, and I guess, like you said, we'll see when the pullback comes. But gold's high intraday was 1980, so it's less than 5% from its all-time high from breaking it.
Yep, that's correct. And you have to think on this surge, we might see gold at least go test those levels, those old highs from 2011, if not even pierce it by a little bit. A lot of times what markets like to do is they like to pierce the old high and then they pull back in. So we'll see. But if gold pulls back now and consolidates for several weeks or even a month or two, then it's really looking to just have a rocket ship move past the old highs.
Yeah, and then silver will take off, we would think, because silver, was at 49 and change back in 2011. So if it consolidates a little below here, then and gold breaks its all-time high, silver almost certainly is going to follow.
Yeah, without a doubt, I would expect it to follow. In fact, when silver makes its move, people have to watch out because you have a lot of speculators that can afford silver. A lot of people can't afford gold, up here at $1,800, $1,900 an ounce. But people can certainly afford, $23 an ounce. So you got to remember that's what really gives that rocket ship ride to silver when ultimately it kicks in. It hasn't done that yet, but I do suspect it will at some point in time.
I think I don't remember if I mentioned to you or not, but I had a $25 credit on eBay, and I bought 2 ounces of silver for roughly about $23.50 an ounce. So effectively, my price was really like $11 an ounce for that coupon. It was not bad,
Yeah, you basically stole it.
Yeah, well, that's hey. There was a time when Microsoft, Bing, if you searched an eBay listing and you bought it, you clicked the link through Bing, they would give you up to $200. And this was during 2011, and they went up to they would give you up to $200 per transaction, up to $2,000 total. And it was like giving away literally I guess about 2 ounces of gold for nothing.
That's incredible. And, again, you found a good little edge there.
Yeah. Well, they exist, and you just have to look for them. Hey, going back to Tesla, all right, because that is the market darling, as you say. They had earnings, whether they're real or not, we could debate that. The thing is, with industrial companies that are undergoing a huge expansion, like Tesla, they are capital consumers, and their earnings might be elusive because they're investing so much capital. I mean, Tesla is investing billions. Point being, now they're probably going to join the S&P 500. And like we discussed yesterday, that could lead to what we would call forced or mandatory purchases of the stock.
That's correct. And ultimately, I believe that was probably the goal of Elon Musk, even with these numbers that he put out. I have not really looked into the numbers, so I don't want to comment on them too further, but I know how these reports work. I know how these companies can beat, and it went on in General Electric for years. So again, if they get into the S&P 500, you're going to have a lot of fund managers that need to buy this stock. And, if they're not in it already, they will be. And that definitely puts underlying buying pressure in the name. Not to say that it'll go up a ton from here, because you do have a lot of people that still bet against it. But the price could stabilize. And if it stabilizes and builds a base, then ultimately, this is a company that could go higher down the road. It's already defied gravity by quite a bit, I should say. And it could continue to do that down the road.
Hey, and speaking of shorts and such, I hate to jump around, but going back to gold and silver, a guy by the name of Eric Sprott, a resource billionaire from Canada, multi-billionaire, a couple of weeks ago, he was sinking money into junior silver miners. Like, I know companies, he just sent them checks, literally, 5 million here, 10 million there. And then he has the Sprott Physical Silver Trust, which just announced that they're raising $1.5 billion, and they're going to purchase approximately 8.8% of the annual output of silver, which evidently triggered some type of short squeeze, which helped move silver up even higher, although it would have gone up on its own, probably not so fast.
Yeah, I mean, when you have big players in there, you'll get these kind of moves. But you have to remember, Eric Sprott has been involved in the gold and silver market basically his entire career. So he's the ultimate gold and silver bug, and he runs these funds that actually take physical delivery. So, again, you're going to have more people starting to do this. That's why I really don't think the run is over for gold and silver. I just think it's beginning.
Yeah, and once you get some major hedge fund players in there, and they're probably in there now, we just don't know, they're planning to take delivery. JP Morgan Chase has got like 1 billion ounces of silver, and last month they actually delivered 85 million ounces, and we'll see how long that they can continue on here. But this thing is definitely going to be really interesting. Probably, like I repeat again, Charles Biederman said, good friend from way back, Silver, this was in 2012, he said, silver is the worst investment in the world. One day you will wake up and it's going to be the best investment in the world. It's not quite there yet, but it could be soon.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with Biederman on that statement because, if you look back the last several years, silver was just an ugly stepchild of gold, and it really couldn't get out of its own way. And now the charts have shaped up and they've really broken out. And, when I was in silver in the month of April and May, people were laughing at me. And, that was down around $15 an ounce. And now here we are, at $22, $23 an ounce. So it's rather remarkable. But, the move is just starting in the precious metals, in my opinion. But wait for pullbacks. You don't have to chase these things. They will come back in. Everything does. Nothing goes up in a straight line.
Agreed, and it's just interesting to see how fast it moved. I read some statistic with stocks as well as most things where there's a publicly traded market. Most of your moves happen in a very short, compressed time period, and then you get these consolidations, and then they move up. And I think that's exactly what's happened here with the metals.
Yeah, that's exactly it, especially if you look at silver. Remember, Kerry, when I was buying call options in SLV, I was saying this is a really, really good pattern to break higher. Now, I was only looking for it to go to $18 or $19. Now, here we are at $21, $22, $23. It's rather remarkable. But these patterns, they talk to you, and that's what traders need to learn. Learn these chart patterns. They occur over and over, and if you do that, you'll be successful in this business. And it doesn't only work for the upside, it works for the downside as well. But we happen to now be in a major bull market for gold and silver.
Yeah, and one other thing like to address. So copper, Dr. Copper, people always say, so goes copper, so goes the global economy. Copper is almost up to $3 a pound. Now, we talked about this yesterday. It looks, and oil is up $40 the barrel. So dollar is down. We could be seeing the beginnings here, and I think we are, of commodity price inflation, which will eventually carry over into consumer price inflation as well.
I agree 100%. In fact, it wasn't that long ago. I did a webinar about 2 months ago, and I said, if you attend that as a bonus, I'm going to give you my best pick, best equity pick going forward for the long term, and it was copper. And here we are now looking at copper, as you said, $3 a pound. So copper is just getting going. When I chart copper, this is just in its beginning stages.
Yeah, and so we could see $6, $8, $10 copper?
Well, I think before you get to that, you'd probably be more likely to see $4 or $5 copper. But, that's still a huge jump from where we are right now, just under $3.
Yeah. And it if you remember during the crash, it went down into the low twos, like 220 or so, during the March crash.
Yeah, the March crash, I believe, copper futures traded as low as $1.97. So here we are. We just went just shy of $3 this about a week ago. But we're putting in, good sideways consolidation for another move. So sit tight, let copper develop that pattern, and it's going to be another buying opportunity there as well.
Yeah, and I guess in the stocks, in your Freeport, McMoran, and the others.
Yeah, Freeport, McMoran, Southern Copper, Rio Tinto. I mean, those are three equities I've been in with my Bullseye trading program, and we made tremendous money on all of them.
Yeah, so you should be watching the patterns on the copper producers, right?
That's right. Watch those patterns. And right now they're a little bit high on the chart. They've gone a little bit parabolic. So we wait like everything else. We wait for patterns, sit back. But when everybody's falling asleep on these things, you got to be looking at them because that's when they're going to make their moves again.
Yeah, and the consensus is that copper will decline because the world economy heading into a recession or a depression, half the world's copper consumption takes place in China, and therefore copper should be going lower. But again, the consensus is wrong.
Well, it always seems to be wrong, to be honest, right? So if you look at the charts, even home builders, I've been talking about how home builder charts are strong. Who would think that we have all these protests, you have places on fire, different cities igniting, and home builders are off the charts to the upside. right? So you just always got to watch the chart. Let the chart be your guide. Let the chart be your eyes to what the stocks are going to do. Turn the news off, turn the mainstream media off. You no need to even listen to that stuff. Just watch the charts. It'll tell you everything.
Yeah, well, the mainstream media is just a form of pollution now. And where's the EPA when you need them? Information pollution is rampant here, Nick.
You're right again, Kerry. And again, I guess this is what we're dealing with. But I just tell everybody all the time, just let the chart guide you. Let the chart tell you what to do. There's been so many times I've been in trades and people say to me, what are you, crazy? That's not going to happen. Look what's going on. And next thing you know, the trade works out and it makes a big advance, or, it goes in a direction I was looking for it to go. And it's really just due to looking at the chart pattern. Watch the money flow. There's the old saying, follow the money. And I think that's what the charts tell you to do. Yeah, and that's what the charts are, is the money trail, right? They absolutely are, 100%. And, even today, we saw, Tesla coming down, the markets were falling. And I tweeted out to, on Twitter, I said, yeah, things are coming down. Tesla rollover has brought the market lower, but watch the Russell 2000. That's higher right now. Use that for your sentiment. And sure enough, the Russell 2000 is up 0.8% today. So, where everything else is, everybody focusing on Tesla, they're not keeping their eyes on other sectors of the market that are advancing. And you're seeing money come out of technology, and it's going into these other areas. And that's what we call a broadening of the market, and that's healthy. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Hey, just one other anecdote. My daughter does hospitality, high-end hospitality, PR. Well, a lot of hotels are languishing. The ones that are in the Blue Ridge Mountains, in various other little niche markets here, are doing unbelievably well. So it's kind of a tale of two markets, and that's why you really got to watch the charts and not listen to the news. That's well said, Kerry. And my wife just tried to book a trip up to the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we're in the process of going up there ourselves. And that's a fun coincidence that you said that. But it's very, very true. And, that's what people have to look at. That's why you have to look at charts, and you don't listen, to everything that you're hearing on the television. Yeah. Could not agree with you more. Anyway, I think we'll leave it at there, Nick, and we'll pick up tomorrow. Just take a look at Nick's site, inthemoneystocks.com. Make sure you look at his trading record and all the useful info that's there available to you for free. And while you're at it, take a look at the Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz. Write us with your questions and comments. I've got a couple. We'll try to get to them tomorrow or Monday, Nick. Good questions and need to be addressed. And just email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. And Nick will pick up tomorrow, which is Friday, and I'm sure it'll be another exciting day. It certainly will, Kerry. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. This concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. For more information, go to inthemoneystocks.com and see Nick's full trading record, or check out the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.